Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished colleagues, welcome to our panel discussion on frontiers and challenges in higher education in research in economics, connecting universities with the innovation ecosystem. The theme of the World Congress invites us to reflect on how economics can contribute to understanding and solving the major challenges of our time. Yet before economists can shape the future, we must ask a more fundamental question. How should universities evolve to educate economists, innovators, entrepreneurs, and policymakers who will shape that future? Universities have traditionally fulfilled three core missions: education, research, and service to the society. Today, all three are undergoing a profound transformation. Artificial intelligence is changing how we teach, learn, do research, and generate knowledge. Data science is redefining the methodological toolkit of economists. Labor markets are demanding new combination of analytical, technological, entrepreneurial, and leadership skills. At the same time, societies increasingly expect universities not only to produce knowledge, but also to demonstrate tangible social and economic impact. In this environment, universities are becoming much more than educational institutions. They're expected to act as key actors within innovation ecosystem, connecting students, researchers, businesses, governments, and civil society. This raises a number of important questions. How should economics curricula evolve in the age of AI? How can universities prepare graduates not only for employment, but also for leadership and entrepreneurship? What incentives encourage impactful and socially relevant research? How can universities strengthen the contribution to innovation-driven growth? How can European universities remain globally competitive while retaining talent and supporting evidence-based policymaking? To explore this question, we are fortunate to have three distinguished academic leaders whose institutions are among the most influential universities and schools in the Central and Southeastern Europe. They bring representatives from research-intensive universities, from leadership positions within their institutions, and from extensive engagement with international academic networks and policy communities. I look forward to engaging in a discussion that will help us better understand how higher education and economic research can contribute to building more innovative, resilient, and prosperous societies. Let me briefly introduce our panelists for today, to start with Professor Jean-Robert Tirant, Professor of Economics at the University of Vienna and the Director of the Vienna Center for Experimental Economics. Professor Tirant holds PhD from the University of Zurich and is well known for his academic contribution in experimental and behavioral economics. Beyond his scholarly achievements, he has played a major leadership role in higher education, serving as the Vice Dean for Research and the Dean of the Faculty of Business, Economics and Statistics at the University of Vienna, and subsequently as the Vice Rector for Research and International Affairs. We also have pleasure to host our dear colleague and friend, Professor Sanja Sever-Mališ, the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business at the University of Zagreb. Professor Sever-Mališ is an expert in accounting and has had numerous leadership positions within her institution, including the Vice Dean for Strategic Partnerships and Projects before becoming the Dean in 2022. Under her leadership, the Faculty of Economics and Business has further strengthened the international position as one of the relatively few business schools worldwide holding three renowned accreditations: ACSB, EQUIS, and AMBA accreditation. And our third speaker is Professor Žaklina Stojanović, the Dean of the Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Belgrade. She is one of the leading Serbian economists and academic scholars with a research focus in agricultural economics, urban and rural development, and economic development in a broader sense. Her leadership has been marked by strong efforts toward internationalization, curriculum modernization, research development, and closer cooperation between academia and industry. Under her leadership, the Faculty of Economics and Business has expanded international partnerships, including the double-degree bachelor programs with the LSE, double-degree master programs with the Freie Universität in Berlin and Catholic University of Leuven, and finally being awarded with the European EFMD accreditation. So let's welcome our panelists and we can start with the discussion. So I suggest that we go from west to east, right? And that would mean that we start with Professor Jean-Robert Tirane. So, Professor Tirane, AI, as you said, AI is transforming the way we teach and do research. And looking in the future, like 10 years ahead, what competencies do you believe would be crucial for economics graduates in order to effectively do their job? Or to complement it, how should economics department balance traditional economic theory with growing demand for data science, machine learning, computational methods, and interdisciplinary skills in teaching their curricula?
Thank you very much for having me. It's a great pleasure to be here. I will try to comment on these questions from the perspective as Vice Rector of Research and International Affairs, not so much from the perspective of someone who's actually been teaching for 30 years. So you raise a very, I think, very important question, very difficult question. As I think Duke Ellington once said, if I knew where jazz was going, I would already be there. So we all would like to know what it is. Actually, Ugo Panizza, I don't know if he's here today, the vice president of the CPR, sent out a survey asking, among others, these questions and introducing to the CPR fellows, which I am one of them, said, we know surprisingly little about this. So that was the opening remark. So let me, so your question is about teaching. So how do we prepare people in teaching? This is a very important question because teaching is a core mission of a public university. I was at a large public university. And so we have three missions, two core missions, research and teaching, and the third one is like impact dialogue with societies. And they are deeply intertwined. I can maybe talk more about this later. But the crucial aspect is this Humboldt idea that university teaching should be research-based. So in some sense, research is the foundation of everything we do, of all missions, including teaching. And research is constantly evolving. This has always been the case. It's the nature of research to evolve. But now it does so at an accelerated pace. And this brings big challenges, as you mentioned, these new technologies, AI, and so on. And I think we need three responses to this. One is an institutional response, which means that we as a university leadership need to keep our structures flexible, lean, and able to adapt. We need openness for interdisciplinary research because the big problems we're facing today and in the future cannot be solved by any single discipline. So we need to create formats that allow people from different perspectives and disciplines to work together, meaning, for example, to bring them out of their silos, as we say, academic silos. So to start, and maybe more importantly also to stop centers, which is often more difficult than to start them. We need a culture. We also need to promote a culture that fosters and embraces learning and adaptation. And we have been struggling with these things recently. So how to address cancel culture, for example, people who have unconventional ideas that they can speak out. And so that's for the institutional level. There's also a substantive level that I would briefly like to talk about. So we need to prepare our graduates to solve tomorrow's problems. And many of these problems are not known today. So how do what properties do they need? I think we need to make them resilient, adaptable, capable of continuous learning. So as an individual characteristic, so they should learn how to teach themselves, so to speak, autonomously. But from an institutional perspective, we also need what is in French is called éducation permanente. So people should get some education, and they go out and do business, or they go to government, and then they come back, get an update, get an upgrade. Finally, AI, the challenge that we have here, will bring a shift in what we are going to learn or teach. And to discuss this, maybe we should remind everyone that there are kind of three types of knowledge. So one is the know what, one is the know how, and the third one is the know why. And of course, we need all three to do good research, and in teaching, we don't want to be in a fact-free world, and we want to do proper analysis, obviously. But the third one, the why dimension, is traditionally the most important of a university, and will become even more important because the machines will be much better in remembering facts and putting it together. So there will be more emphasis on the know why dimension. So what does it mean? It means we need to teach our students to think critically and analytically, to understand complex systems and their interactions, foster creativity, ability to connect seemingly unrelated ideas, to connect the dots. I think that's how we should teach the next generation of econs. Thanks.
Thank you. Professor Sever-Malish, to connect on what was already pointed out by Professor Tiran. So many universities still primarily focus on training their graduates for employment. Should, in that sense, universities play a stronger or an equal emphasis on preparing students to become entrepreneurs, innovators, and change makers rather than merely employees? So what would be your view on that?
First of all, I would like to say that it's a great privilege and honor for me to be here, and this time I will be speaking as a leader of a Triple Crown institution. So Faculty of Economics and Business, University of Zagreb is a Triple Crown institution, and this is something that gives me the opportunity, me as a dean, to be the accreditator or to be the member of the panel. So really I had the opportunity to see how different education system all over the world functions. And what really brings my attention that today we have two critical changing perspectives. First, it's the new technologies and also application of artificial intelligence. This makes the education globally accessible. So nowadays you can be sitting in your living room and taking the education from all over the world. So this is really a privilege for this generation to have this opportunity to have this globally accessible knowledge. On the other side, you have a great threat for the universities. What is the main problem is that in that kind of context, in the context where everything is changing so fast and so smoothly, you have to be adaptable, you have to change from day to day. So actually, we all, I would just tell you, 94% of my staff have a PhD. So we were really trained 20 or more years in order to reach our positions to be assistant professor, associate professors, full professors. But right now, what we have to face with the challenge that we have to radically change what we are doing and how we are thinking. I was mentioning that we are Triple Crown institution. That means that we have the obligation to change, so we are reporting to the international bodies from year to year in order to see how we improved our institution, what we have changed, and how does it work from day to day. So actually, what we are trying to put our focus on is firstly on internationalization. So tell to our students, oh, the business is global, so our education should be global as well. This is the first critical aspect of doing business, but not only that, we have to adopt on the change that AI is nowadays factual facts. So they are easy, accessible, so you really cannot spend a lot of time on explaining to the students the basic things. So what we really learned from these accreditation processes that we have to change, that we have to meet these international standards, and this is something that brings me to the to your question. So usually we thought everything is about bringing to the classroom to do the teaching. But nowadays what we are thinking, we have to have an impact. So this is one of the critical aspects of us doing our teaching, research, and expert activities. So firstly, we have to have impact on society, what we are trying to achieve. We are trying to tell our professors, whatever you do, you have to show how does this influence the Croatia, the region, the Europe, and this is something that can really be measurable. So actually, what we have done nowadays, we have targets, so it's about strategy. We have strategy 5 years from now, and we have very clear targets what we have to achieve in that period. So first, we have to, everything that we are doing, we have to have an impact. And of course, this impact through teaching activities refer primarily through the way how students should have critical thinking on what they are doing. For instance, I am the professor of accounting. I usually do financial statement analysis. And 20 years ago, we needed approximately 1 week to download the financial statements, to do all the ratio calculations, everything. Now we are doing like this. So what we have to teach our students, we have to teach them that AI can help us in what we are doing. But on the other hand, we have really a problem that sometimes the students take it easy for granted. They are not critically assessing what they are doing, and that is really something that we should put focus on that aspect.
So would you agree that like critical assessment is becoming of an increasing importance considering the AI disruptions we are witnessing?
Yes, absolutely, but not only that. You know, students think because they can enter the financial data into the system that everything will be solved because they did it. They do not understand. So at one side, you have to have a clear vision what is happening behind the numbers, and on the other side, you have to really be critically thinking because AI helps you in a way you want to help you. So if you are biased in that critical assessment, this is something that we have to teach our students. And of course, this is also our mission. We are not teaching our students only to be ready for the employment. We are teaching them to be innovative. We are teaching them to be entrepreneurs. We are teaching them to not only to create policy making for some aspects of doing business, but also to implement. And this is something that we cherish the most. So nowadays we have from Faculty of Economics and Business, we have the we have the Ministry of Finance. We are proud of them. We have the Vice President of the European Investment Bank. So these are the real consequences of what we are doing as a faculty, as a business school. We are creating impact, and we want to create impact in each and every segment of teaching, research, and expert work.
Thank you. So, as I said, the first mission of the universities is linked to teaching. Teaching prepares students for the labor markets. As we know, labor markets are evolving faster than university curricula normally, which is in many ways good. Still, how can economics and business programs remain, in one hand, academically rigorous, while at the same time becoming a bit more agile and responsive to emerging skills needs? Or to put it in a complementary way, which skills do you believe will differentiate successful economics graduates in like 2036, so like 10 years from now? So is it like technical skills, analytical reasoning, communication skills, entrepreneurial skills or capabilities, or something else? So Professor Stojanovic, what would be your view on that?
Thank you very much. First of all, thank you for this important topic we discussed about during the conference. As far as we understand our role in the society, we should always start from the labor market perspective and what labor market really needs. On the other side, you mentioned that the labor market is now exposed to continuous and multiply challenges. We already mentioned technology is fastly developing. On the other side, we have changing in regulations and industries. We have to implement new tools in education, in doing the business, in any aspects of our life. So at one side, we have very fast changes, but how university, that is your question, can respond on these fast challenges we are exposed to. As far as all of people that are involved in governing of institutions in higher education knows, we actually have a huge problem which is connected with, let me say, designing of curricula and procedures that we have to achieve. We have to go through some processes which are long-lasting, and we have to somehow make it possible for institutions to change smoothly in these times, and that is very hard to achieve. So basically, we should think about the governance within the institution and how we can achieve, first of all, these goals. So we actually have this paradox. Labor marketing is changing very fast. On the other side, universities have also to be on the same track. Are we possible, are we capable, that is the question to answer on this demand. And I would like to somehow make rewarding of your question. You said how we can answer on the labor market demand. Current labor market demand, if we answer on the current labor market demand, at the moment, we are late. We are not in the good position. Actually, we should think about next 15, 20 years, and that is very, let me say, open discussion, what will be in the future, but we should discuss about it. What will be the needs of the labor market in the next 20 years? And if we go through further analysis, we can also think about some professors said, products of the university we offer to the market. I don't like it. I don't like this term. Our products are students and their knowledge and capabilities and skills and everything what they have and they earn during their studies. So I think that they should, to address new challenges, they should first of all understand fundamental concepts. Therefore, we teach them to understand that. But we also have to teach them how to develop critical thinking. That is also mentioned by our colleagues. They have to have analytical skills for the future job. And capacity, I agree with Professor Tiran, to learn during the life. That is the main capability. So how we do it at our institution, we, starting from 2015, we have started with the cooperation with community, broader community, business community, local governments, other institutions, public institutions. And we continue this conversation about what are the needs of the market in the future and currently. And they said to us years before that analytical skills are very important. They want to have, for example, experts in finance, economics and finance. They want to have in quantitative finance experts. They want to have experts that will actually address policy makers expertise and policy-based, evidence-based decision-making process. So we did a lot of work to have one program with a lot of possibilities for students to address exactly these needs that we were discussed about. And I think that there are other extra possibilities for the universities. We should think about professional certifications, micro-credentials. We should also think about full involvement of internships in the program. And we also can think about short cycle programs which are possible according to our legislation, but I think that these programs should be added on the top of education that we have, merging different fields of expertise and giving this interdisciplinarity Professor Tiran already talked about. So these are the main issues, main problems, but also there are solutions, and we can answer demand at the market. I will take just a few seconds to answer on the second part of the questions. How do I see the skills of our students in the future? I would like to say that analytical reasoning, understanding of the problem, and interdisciplinary thinking are the most important. So we will have students that can understand the problem, that can understand what is the cause and what is correlation between different factors they have to analyze. They should also think about different trade-offs, different possibilities in solving different problems, to understand what are positive and negative impacts and to explain it. And at the most, they should think about risk analysis and uncertainty, how they will make decisions the most efficient and effective at the place they will work. We have to offer them this knowledge. So I will stop here and let you know about different perspectives that we can speak in the further discussion.
Thank you for a very inspiring intervention. Professor Tiran, the second mission of the university is on research. Universities are increasingly expected to demonstrate societal impact, which was already mentioned today here, alongside the academic excellence. And in that sense, how should research evaluation systems primarily evolve in order to reward, in one hand, scientific rigor for sure, and on the other hand, societal relevance without compromising either?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the question. So, excellence in research is really the core, is the fundamental driver of what we're doing, because we do research-based teaching. And so how does research excellence come about? How does it start? It's all about people. So what we as a leadership need to do is we must attract and retain and motivate talented researchers to do excellent research. And we must enable them to do it. So we must provide competitive conditions, including good salaries, but that's not the only thing, but that's also important, to pay good salaries, to give them academic freedom so they can choose what to work on. It's the university leadership is terribly bad in pointing, in predicting the next scientific breakthrough in 10 years. You know, I was vice rector of research of a full university. You know, I'm an economist. You know, how can I predict the next breakthrough in molecular biology or in astrophysics? I can't. And even the astrophysics people have a hard time. So we need this academic freedom, but there's also social and cultural aspects to it. So we need strong colleagues to form groups that can, discuss in a civilized way, in a productive way, not fight all the time, but, listen to each other also. And so more generally, it's about people, and we need to create an environment where they can thrive. So that's number one. It's about people. But then if we want excellent research, so how do we know what's excellent? So we must somehow identify it. Excellence must be identified and probably also rewarded. That's what you say, but it's a tricky thing. I come back to that later. So identifying excellence is relatively easy for well-established researchers because you can evaluate them on their past, so to speak, on their performance, if you like. So you can see what they published, whether they got cited, whether they got grants, how the peers think about them. So there is easier. But the real tricky thing is about junior researchers, because we need to evaluate promise rather than performance. And so this makes very careful and recruiting essential. So you need to talk to these people and really figure out what's their vision, what's their pipeline, where are they going. But we also need to accompany them through mentoring right. So maybe I say later a bit more about this. So this, or maybe I do now. So these young people are critical. They're like the assistant professor level. This is difficult to spot excellence, but excellence is not only recruited; it's cultivated. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we need this mentoring, of course, by more senior people. But we need, that's maybe one of the most crucial things, we need to give young people enough time to do research. So we shouldn't burden them with administration and, endless teaching. They should teach some, but by and large, they should have a lot of time for research, because doing excellent research is difficult. It's creative, it's fulfilling, but it's also a lot of hard work to do it. And so to develop them, I already mentioned mentoring, but what we sometimes forget is that the making of an economist is actually also an act of socialization. Yeah, so you can read textbooks, you can read papers. That will not make you a well-rounded economist. You need to understand, how do economists think? What do they talk about? So you need to go to a conference like this, and you need to network, you need to go out to places to understand, to be a part of it, a member of this. So we need to enable the young and encourage the young people to do this. So we need travel budgets and so on. So how can excellence be cultivated? What can university leadership do? I'd like to point out one very important thing is trust. So the trustworthiness of an institution matters a lot. And the reason is, if we want to motivate and attract young people to go into academia and to invest their lives into this, and we of course expect them to work 60, 70 hours a week on this, they invest their lives in this, then we should be able to make sure or convince them that we have fair procedures for promotion, for example, that our funding is reliable. It's not that we hire them and then we will fire them 5 years later or 10 years later because we don't have the money anymore, that we will let them do things they are interested in, because many young people that go into academia are intrinsically motivated. They burn to find out some stuff about the world, and that requires academic freedom. If we tell them, government wants us to do this and this, now you work on this, it's very off-putting, I think. And so strong reputation of a university is essential. Strong reputations are earned. We needed them to attract excellent scholars and to sustain good performance, but it's a long-term thing. The University of Vienna has been around for more than 650 years. We had ups and downs, obviously, but it's very likely that the University of Vienna is going to be around for another 100 years at least. If there's not a total meteorite or something hitting the planet. Ceteris paribus. Yeah, even we will adapt to things. University of Vienna today is very different from the university 300 years ago. So we have evolved, we have adapted to the changes that happened since the Middle Ages, dramatic changes. And we have adapted, we can do a job, but it requires a long-term orientation and continuous funding, because if we want to build these careers to inspire the confidence to young people, we need to give them perspectives on their careers and so on. It's time to stop. Okay, let me stop here.
Thank you. Professor Sever Malish, so from your experience as the dean of big institution with roughly 10,000 students, more than 300 academics, right? And from your experience as a part of the peer review committees for relevant international accreditations, so would you agree that designing or redesigning curricula in a way that will provide to your students, to our students, in one hand, internationally comparable competencies, and in the other hand, applicable or practical competencies are relevant pillars of the development strategy? That's one, and connected to that, actually, from your experience, what would be the most successful mechanisms, the most successful ways to engage businesses or the industry in curriculum development, research, and student learning in order to deliver, that's what we said is the objective?
Oh, thank you for that question. It's quite hard to answer it, but I will try to bring my thoughts to the audience right now. So first of all, what I would like to stress out that this trust is very important. First of all, I completely agree that the universities have to wake up. You know, we are slow ladies. So we are really not adapting as fast as industry and companies do. And what I would like to stress out is the importance of collaboration and coordination. First of all, I am the Dean of the Faculty of Economics from University of Zagreb. I really believe that all the faculties within Croatia has to work together. We are not competitors. Mm-hmm. Not only that, if we help each other, we will increase our quality, how we are doing teaching, research, and expert work. Then we also have to cooperate on the region base. So we would say we are Balkans, but yes, we have to do the cooperation. Also, when we widen the circle, we have to cooperate within the European Union. And not only that, with the universities within the European Union, and not only that, we have to have the global perspective. We have to be able to provide us the global knowledge for our students, and that brings us to the fact that we have to cooperate with the best universities in the world. What we are actually doing now, we are Triple Crown, so we are trying to connect with all the Triple Crown institutions all over the world, and this brings us the wider perspective. But regarding your question, I really think that we have to operate from one side. We want to be proactive. We want to have strategy. We want to have KPIs. This is on the one hand, and on the other hand, you have a very tough bureaucratic system that makes you very hard to introduce the new program, to introduce the new courses. And not only that, you also have the high level of democracy that is present at the university level. So what we are doing, whenever we are trying to achieve or introduce some change, then we say, oh, it's not about me as a dean or a management board, it's about international rankings, international standards, international accreditation. That makes us able or allow us to bring some changes that otherwise the people who are well educated, who are the best scientists, who are very good at research, who are very good at teaching, who are very good at expert work, they are collaborating with all kinds of partners, they will not accept it. So what I want to stress out, we have to change, and we have to brought into the academia all the ecosystem. And you are right, I will support your idea of bringing the companies, and that reflects my previous answer, that companies, it's not about academia attracting companies or vice versa. You have to have balance. Why would these be connected. Not only because we have the best talents in Croatia, because we are attracting the best students, but also we have to work on other projects. So I strongly agree with the fact that we have to have the research with the impact that would bring the companies to come to us. Because if we want to, sometimes, you know, we are always questioning Q1 papers, and we were just discussing that we needed, I don't know, 2 or 3 years to publish a paper. You know, companies, banks, they don't have time to wait 3 years to see the result of our work. It has to, so I really, as a dean, cannot understand this measurement. You know, Q1 I wait for 3 years, and then my paper is published. And we know that everything is changing in a month, in a year. So we really have to see how we can bring companies to the academia, and companies has to see the relevance, and that makes me think that our research has to be based on the impact. So a company will come to me if I can solve some kind of problem, if I can bring additional value. And for that reason, it is crucial that every day we have in mind that we are teaching, that teaching, research has to have an impact on the society. And whenever we have the chance, at each occasion, we will support the collaboration between the academia and the companies. But on the other side, the day has only 24 hours, you know. You cannot do all, so you really have to select what you will actually choose between many opportunities that are offered offered every day. Because, you know, my professors, they are complaining, oh, we have a lot of teaching, we have to do the research. We would like to be consultants on the government level, so always balancing between what is the impact, where should we allocate our resources, and on the other side you have the students. And you know, students, nowadays, I'm not sure that in 10 years they will wait for 5 years. Now we have programs that are 5 years programs, you know. They need fast diploma. They want to exchange very fast. You know, sometimes we had the opportunity, we sent students for 1 semester. Nowadays, we cannot convince student to go for 1 semester somewhere. He wants to go 3 times per one semester. He wants to visit different universities. So that's why we are introducing blended intensive program. So we have to find a way how we can make things move and change faster, because without that we will be lagging behind even more. And I completely agree, we have to wake up, because it's nice to be professor, it's nice to have titles, professor, doctor, it's perfect. But still, if we do not see what is happening on the other side, and of course, you know what we are also experiencing, internationalization. We know in Europe that our students, they are not good at maths. You know, all the results show that we are decreasing the points where our students just don't learn math anymore. So we have to see what are the opportunities to bring international students from East or West to fill this gap. So that is really something that bothers me from day to day. And of course, on the other hand, you have the AI, you have data analysis, you have everything is so focused on the quantitative and research methods. And the students are changing. They are changing in line with what they are experiencing. And they are experiencing some very fast information, very fast. They want to achieve results in a much faster way than academia can offer right now. That is my opinion, of course, but I really, I'm not scared to say it.
Thank you. Professor Stojanovic, this morning we had a vibrant discussion here at one of the plenary panels on the new economic paradigm that the world is shaping or reshaping, and drawing on experience of some Asian countries, including China, like being able to keep talents or to attract talents appeared as like the quite significant variable in shaping long-run growth dynamics. So what China did in the last few decades or 50 years was like sending talented people to top universities in the West, but still attracting them to get back home, thus developing good universities, which were able not only to replicate research, but to innovate. And in that sense, many countries, including Serbia, face growing challenges related to talent retention and brain drain. And to your view, what roles should universities play in attracting, developing, and retaining highly skilled graduates?
Thank you. That is a really interesting question. But I would like to ask ourselves what factors are under the control of universities in that context. I think that brain drain problem is a broader, wider problem. And actually, we should think about that, how talented people can develop their own careers locally. That is our goal. We have to think about it, and we have to ask ourselves what we can do. We know that all factors are not under our control, but what we can do, that is the right question. So we should attract talented people. It is easy to say, hard to done again. So we should think about the quality of teaching. That is our first goal of universities as institutions. We should introduce, that is our strategy at our faculty. I'm speaking from our perspective. We should also introduce internationally recognized degrees. At our faculty, we have long-standing cooperation with University of London, London School of Economics and Political Science. We have 2 programs offered in English at undergraduate studies. So our students for Serbia will not have to go outside of Serbia to get a degree from University of London. They can do it here in Serbia. We have also cooperation with Freie University of Berlin, and you mentioned University of Louvain. So we do really a lot in this context to be internationally recognized and to attract talented students to continue their education here in Serbia. We also build a strong partnership with business community, as I said, and we also cooperate with local and regional community. And our first goal is to create career placement programs, internships. We have very good cooperation in that context with our stakeholders. And the other goal is to make scholarship available for our students for some programs at the master level when budget is not financing. From the state budget, we cannot finance the students. And finally, it is last but not the least, as we will always want to say, talented students choose not just institutions and programs, they actually choose entire ecosystem. It is important to know. So at the moment, with the good strategy, I have to say it is the last information that we have in the media. Our faculty is recognized as most attractive among scholars here in Serbia. So we do really a good job in this context of our country using these alternatives, these instruments I have mentioned. So our main message is always think global, but try to act local. Try to find the best solution for your own. So we can't keep everyone actually from leaving Serbia. That is not the goal. On the other side, we should create environment which will make talented people have a good reason to stay here. Or if they go for a master thesis somewhere else, good reason to come back in Serbia. Or if they stay somewhere else all over the world, to keep the connection as alumni with our institutions. That is the main message. So it is something that we can do. It is something under our control. On the other side, you have mentioned these connections with policy making and what we can do in that context. U suštini. Basically,
Speaking of policymaking.
basically, we should actually make our research more relevant for policymakers. That is something that we can do.
Yeah.
But on the other side,
To improve the entire environment in that way.
yes, yes. On the other side, we should also think about a role that we have together with the ministries, ministries of science and education, in the context of designing a complete research environment. What kind of projects do we really need? How we can interact together to make this ecosystem more efficient and more concentrated over the policy making and efficient and effective results. There are at least two traps that we have. First one is related to expectation of our politicians. Yeah, they always expect to have confirmation of their measures, of their activities and everything else. And there is another problem. Politicians always think, or those who are making decisions, always think in the short run. We, as a scientist, always think on the long run and long run perspective. So we should all address the important issues from both perspectives. Why that is important? It is important because all the challenges can be solved using these two very strong initiatives from both sides, from the side of university and from the side of those who are making decisions. So we have a tiny, narrow path, as Acemoglu, Johnson, and Robinson said, to make possible sustainable development and long-run development of the society with interaction of both sides. How we can do it, it is the last my interaction here in this answering on this question. We should certainly collaborate with policy-making activists or stakeholders. On the other side, we can also think about think tank activities, other, let me say, academia, policy labs, and other forms that we can introduce to help efficient and effective policy making, and that is our role. So Professor Tiran also said it is important to try to answer on all questions from the interdisciplinary point of view. So we can't answer as an economist solely because problems we are faced with are actually very complex. So we should cooperate in academia with other experts to answer all the questions that modern society is faced with.
Okay, thank you. So 4 of us are calibrated to 45 minutes talks, and we are pretty much precise thus far. So we still have a few minutes for questions or comments, mainly questions from the audience. So if there is a question, you can briefly introduce yourself and ask the question, stating to whom the question is directed.
Professor,
I have a question. Okay, Professor Tiran.
I just
you raise
wanted
your
to
hand
follow up on what Jacqueline said. I think this is a very important aspect to think of the interaction of universities and the political system. This is the demands on what we should do are high, too high. Yeah? We have very difficult missions. Research and teaching is difficult enough, but we should also save the planet. We should promote growth. We should boost the economy. It's too many things that we are there. And because there are limits to what we can do, because the means and the missions are not compatible. We don't get the sufficient means to complete the third and the fourth and the fifth mission. So we should think of, how can we really do well in our core mission, which is research and teaching, and maybe the third mission. One aspect that is often underestimated in the third mission is that it is our interaction, our dialogue with society. But society means we need to talk to the politicians, we need to talk to administration, but also to the voters, because at the end of the day, the pressure flows from the voters and the businesses. And when I see, for example, in Serbia, but also in other countries, I see some developments that are founded in misconceptions about what the good university should do. For example, very counterproductive, very short-termist incentives to publish. And then you publish in second-rate journals, you get a lot of money for this, and it breeds a culture that is not conducive to actual good research, because good research takes time. You said 2-3 years. Some of my papers took twice and 3 times as much. So, but if people have to produce a paper in 2-3 weeks, or they get incentives to do that, then this is what you will get. And it's going to be terrible research. So and we need to communicate this to the politicians and maybe also to the public, rather than just playing the game. You know, because given the incentives are given from the top, the deans will, you know, what else can they do? They play the game to get the money. So.
Okay, thank you. So since we are running out of time, please join me in one round of applause for our panelists. Yes, thank you. Thank them. And I would like to thank once again to International Economic Associations and Serbian Association of Economists for hosting the panel on higher education. It's quite relevant to the overall theme of the Congress. Thank you.
Thank you. Perfect timing.